Well, the 48th edition of the Toronto International Film Festival will be hosted from September 7th to the 17th with a range of highly anticipated films set to debut. Must-watch films include The End We Start from director Mahalia Bello and Hitman, directed by Richard Linklater. But for one particular moviegoer, this year's TIFF is much more significant than others, and one particular movie stands out from the rest. Well, joining us now to give us his take on this year's Toronto International Film Festival in our weekly Caldwell segment is Brendan Caldwell, director at Caldwell Securities Ltd. Brendan, welcome back.
I am so glad to be here, Nima. While it is impossible for actors to promote their own films because of the actors and writers strike, there says nothing about actors' fathers, but please, let's go.
Well, definitely, Brendan. I mean, we mentioned this year's TIFF is quite special to you. Can you tell us a little bit more about why?
Well, my son's first feature comes out. It's a movie called Dream Scenario, where he is in a role as, I believe, I'm very sketchy on the details. He's been sworn to secrecy, but what I've been able to glean from the press release is that he plays one of Nicolas Cage's students, and that it's somehow sort of a horror kind of psychological thriller type movie. Knowing my son, though, I'm just guessing here, but he survives so little of the work that he's in, whether it's plays or films, TV shows or other. He's lucky to get off with a mere incarceration, so I don't think he's going to make it through this one.
Sounds like quite the movie, Brendan. Can you tell us a little bit more and give us a bit of a preview behind the story here?
Well, my son is I think very typical of this generation. He's 25 at present, but at university, he managed to just be able to squeeze through before the lockdowns started at the beginning of 2020, got himself an agent, but then there was no work to be had in film or anything for a year. So things only started ramping up in kind of 2021. And he's done a few different pieces. His name is either Ben Caldwell or Ben Steele Caldwell. Yes, his actual middle name is Steele. And he did an episode of Murdoch Mysteries. He's done some cable work. He got a start doing something for Blue Ant Media called Web of Darkness. So he's good at comedy horror. And he did a few episodes of a very popular show called Ginny and Georgia for Netflix, and has recently did a bit of Oscar bait called Super Icyclone. But this movie that's come out, Dream Scenario, it's been interesting for the actors. My son is, and I don't think any actor has really done very many in-person auditions. They've almost all been virtual, so that producers can see hundreds and hundreds of videos if they want to at almost no cost to them. So it's the whole business is a little bit stressful. But the times that he has been able to get an in-person interview, he's been able to always land the part. So this is well, this wasn't the part he was going out for. He did get a part, I believe, as one of Nick Cage's students. So we'll have to see if he survives this. The premiere is at 5:30 in the evening on Saturday the 9th. So I'm very much looking forward to it this Saturday.
Looking forward to it indeed, Brendan. So I'm sure he had a lot of stories to share with you in terms of his experience working on this huge Hollywood film. What stood out to you in regards to his stories that he shared with you?
Well, what's been interesting on all these pieces that he's done with the Netflix shows or even the cable thing, Web of Darkness, and particularly this movie, Dream Scenario, is how close the actors have been. They work together for a few days or a few weeks on this project, and then they do tend to stay in touch. There is a bond, there is a friendship. I saw that in his acting class. He went to Sheridan in the drama program, and I could, after 4 years, I could see why they would be close. But actors have this interesting bond that they're working together for only a few days or a few weeks on a project, and they tend to create a bond. So I think he's taking like 6 or 8 of the actors that were actually in the movie with him to the premiere. I don't think they're allowed to red carpet, but I do think they're actually going to be present and be supportive in any way they can.
That's very beautiful, Brendan. Now, just a quick 30 seconds left here, but other than watching your son on the big screen, what else will you be looking forward to at this year's TIFF?
Well, it's always fun to walk up and down King Street, particularly in the first weekend there when everything is all blocked off. and just to watch the people watching the people. Toronto has got the best people watching in the world. And while I don't know that any of the big stars will be coming up, because again, this actors strike and the writers strike going on in Hollywood has prevented actors from promoting their own films, which seems bizarre to me, but whatever. But the just actually seeing Toronto being what it is, and celebrating itself for being a major world center for movie, film, TV production, it's just a great couple weeks every year.
Definitely looking forward to it, and definitely looking forward to watching Ben Steele Caldwell in action. Brendan, thank you again for your time today.
Dream scenario. Thanks
Dream
very much.
scenario.
Nima.
We'll be right back.